Well, the time has come to reveal the latest and the newest of my signature line of turkey calls. Been waiting for a long time to do this, so let's get after it. Well, after a year or so, I'm finally glad to reveal this call to you. This call has been kind of a touch and go to make, but we finally got the finished product out. This is a call that I had when I first started turkey hunting way back in the mid-90s. A guy at a True Value hardware store there where I lived at made these calls and sold them there. Just a handful of calls every year he'd make them, and this was one of them. And boy, I tell you what, this thing, I killed some turkeys with this thing. This thing actually just was a great little call, and I never could find another one. I lost that one after several years. Don't know wherever it went. Don't know wherever it went to, but I've looked for one. But so I got together with the Spring Fever guys, and I said, "Listen, I've got an idea for a call. It's an old call I used to use. Now we put our own little spin on it, of course, but I said, here's the basis of this call." And so they kind of liked the idea. So we got to working back and forth, and we're getting ready to reveal that call to you right now. So here it is, the Little Sly. You ready for this? That's right. It's a little miniature box call, but hold on a minute. It's not really a box call. No, it's a hybrid call. Now, what do I mean by hybrid call? Well, what I mean is it's two calls in one, because it is a small little box, but inside of this box, right down in here, there is slate, just like on a slate call, and you have a striker, just like you would use with your slate call. You have a striker right here attached to the lid that goes down to your slate, and so you have a slate sound inside of a box. So you have a good box sound along with that real pretty little slate sounds that we all enjoy. So this is a great little call. I'm telling you, years ago when I had one, it was about this size. It sounded pretty much the same way that this sounds. In fact, I think this one sounds actually a little bit better, probably a lot better to be honest, thinking back about it. But this is really a great call. Now, we all love a slate call. I think a slate call is still one of the best calls out there for getting them soft clucks and them purrs out there, especially when you're working that turkey in. I have a signature slate call in this line. It's great. I'll still use it. But what if you could get them soft little subtle sounds inside the chamber of a box? It would even be better, right? And that's what we've done here. A slate gives such good clucks and purrs, but when you add the chamber of a box, and we all know what a good box call is like, you know. In fact, the first call out of this line that we produced out of the signature line was the old Sly box, and I'll still use it. But a box call is phenomenal when you get out past 70, 80 to 100, 150 yards. I mean, you get out 70, 80, 100, 150 yards out through the woods and listen to a good box call, I'm telling you, it'll blow your mind how good they sound. So imagine the best of both worlds, and that's what we have in the Little Sly. So when you are working that turkey in really close, you can get them slate sounds, and you can get that little clucks and purrs that we all enjoy. But we can also get that sound of a box where we can locate turkeys, and we can really get that echo, especially out in these hollers and woods and out in the timber. So it's just really great. But this call is so perfect because of the size. Now, if you notice, it's really small, but that's what makes this call, is it's so small and compact. I know a lot of guys don't like turkey vests, but this is a great call that you can fit right into your, like your shirt pocket. You know, if you just are a person that likes to have a few mouth calls in your shirt pocket, maybe a pot call in your side pants pocket, and just go through the woods. Hey, this call, look, I mean, you can fit it right in your shirt pocket or right down in the side of your pants pocket, and it's just great for that. Just small little call. It's just another tool you can add this coming turkey season if you're not a big fan of turkey vests. But it's not really the size that makes this call. What makes this call is how easy it is to use. A 5-year-old kid can pick this call up and be doing clucks with it and purrs even. Yeah, you heard me right, purrs with it in just about 2 or 3 minutes. I promise you, it is that good and that easy to use because of the way it's designed. So let me show you how easy it is to use this little SLY box. Now, most box calls that people use, they go from right to left. Like this. Now this call is designed to go left to right, and the reason is so we can get that one-handed use that this call is great for. And what do I mean by one-handed? Well, you can take your thumb and your middle finger and get clucks and purrs out of this just by one hand. So let's say you have a mouth call and you're using a mouth call, right? And you've got this in your other hand, and you can sound like multiple turkeys, especially when that gobbler's coming in and you're sitting back up against a tree. You don't have to be doing all this movement with a conventional box or a slate that's got 2 pieces where you got to be moving and putting parts down. You can just reach down beside of you, hold this in your hand, and get little clucks out of it like this. Here's a cluck. All I'm doing is just moving my thumb. All I'm doing is just moving my thumb. And I'm moving my middle finger back just a little bit to get it reset. Whereas if it went the other way, you'd have to, move your middle finger, but then you'd have to come all the way back over to readjust it. This way, you can just move it with your thumb and get clucks. A kid can do this, all right? Let's try a purr. All I'm doing is just moving my thumb over and my middle finger back to get it back in position, and it doesn't take any effort at all. That's the great thing about this call, is the fact that you can use this call with such minimum movement, especially if you're sitting down and working that turkey. When I used to have one of these calls, or one like it, there were many times when I would be sitting with my back up against a tree, gun pointed, straight out to where that gobbler was at, have a mouth call, and instead of having to reach, lay my gun aside or lay it back on my lap and pick another call up, to call and sound like multiple turkeys to get that turkey unhung like we do many times, all I'd have to do is just reach down, still have my gun in position, just reach down beside of me and cluck a couple times, just like that, or purr. And just put the call back down and didn't even have to lift it up, just keep it close to the ground. Many times that's going to get that turkey broke and come on in. So it's just a great call for clucks and purrs, like I said, to get them little sounds that we all love from a slate. You can cut with it. Now I know the mic, we're mic'd up and the mic doesn't do it justice, but you can hear it echoing back here, back behind me. You can hear it echoing around. So it's a loud little call, or it can be if you put a lot of pressure, but you can also get real soft with it, like that. So there's things you can do just one-handed that really just makes it neat, I think, and that's one of the great advantages of this call. Now, how does it yelp? Well, it yelps great. It's the sound of a box, but it's also the sound of a sleigh. So listen. Listen to that. That's what you're going to hear mostly when it comes to hens out in the woods. Now I know that a lot of people will say, man, that's awful, way high pitchy. That's exactly the way it's supposed to be. All of my calls in the old SLY series is high pitch and high frequency because that's the way I like my calls. Over the last 30 years of turkey hunting, I have seen high frequency calls and higher pitch calls get a lot more response and get more gobblers fired up than I have the old raspy calls. Now, it still amazes me when I go to shows and I meet people, and maybe I'm doing seminars where I'm selling calls, and people will come up and they'll say, give me the raspiest call you got. I want the most raspiest. I like that old raspy sound. And the customer's always right, so you try to help them. But I'm sitting there thinking in my mind, why do you want to know raspy call? Now, I have a raspy call. I have some raspy mouth calls that I carry with me because you never know what that turkey might want on that particular day. But pretty much more times than not, you don't hear raspy hens out there, out there when it comes to Easterns and Rios especially. You just don't hear it. You hear a more higher pitched hen when it comes to hunting most of the birds that we hunt. just listen. How many times do you really hear a real deep, throaty, raspy hen? Not very many times. You know, I'm not saying you'll never will, and that's why you need some raspy calls. But more times than not, you're going to hear that higher pitch. That's what you're going to hear. And it just seems like it gets turkeys to respond more, and especially cut through the wind and cut through that weather when it's bad weather. And just some mornings, man, it's just that they'll gobble to that when they don't gobble at nothing else. So I like a more higher pitched frequency call, because I really do think that it makes a difference. Now, if you don't like that really high pitched sound and you want to change it, y'all heard me talk about tuning box calls over the years. You know, I think every box call sometimes need a little bit of adjusting every now and then and get the right pitch that you like. Well, with this call, all you have to do is take a small little screwdriver, just a small little screwdriver you can stick down in your pocket or in your turkey vest if you wear one. You know, just hardly takes up any room at all. And all you have to do is that center screw where your striker's at, is you just got to adjust it a little bit. You just kind of back it off, barely. Don't back it off much. Just barely turn it. And then sometimes you can get a lower sound just by adjusting it just a little bit. Here it's more of a throaty kind of sound, where if you tighten it a little bit and you tighten just a little bit, you get a more higher pitched, kind of what I like. You just kind of got to customize it the way you want it. But that's how you kind of tune this little call if you like a more lower sound. And many times I'll carry a little screwdriver with me, even on my original box, and I've done it for years before I ever had a signature box. I'd carry a screwdriver with me to where I could tune that call a lot of times to match the hens I was hearing. If I was hunting a property and I heard a more throatier type hen, but like I said, I don't hear that very much, but when I did, I'd just back my call off and make that call sound like them. And if I heard a really higher pitched hens, I'd crank it up and make it higher. That's how you tune a box. And you can do the same thing to this, but pretty much right from the box. They're really, really good. But it's got some really pretty slate yelps. But here's what I think sells this call. Them clucks and purrs that you can get just by such a minimum movement that's out there. And when it comes to them sharp-eyed gobblers, that's what you want. You don't want to be making a bunch of movement. You want the less movement, you know, as you can get. And many times you can just leave that call right on the ground almost, just barely pick it up and have that gun up and just be calling with it. Have your mouth call in if you use a mouth call. Sound like a couple hens up there. Many times that gets a gobbler that's hung up. It'll get him unhung because he thinks there's more than one hen up there. So it's just really good for clucks and purrs that a lot of times you can't get out of a conventional box. Another advantage of this call is for those that can't use a mouth call. Maybe you're allergic to latex and you can't use a mouth, or maybe you're not proficient enough yet to use a mouth call and you don't feel like you're good enough to go out there and try to hunt with one. Well, this call has you covered, because instead of using a conventional box, or instead of using even a slate call where you have this movement with, you know, two pieces, or even if you put that slate down flat on the ground and try to use it like that, you can still use it that way, but a lot of times you don't get the best sound out of it where you're not holding it. This call has you covered, because you can still get them same little soft, really soft sounds, you know, just by such a small amount of movement. And you can get them clucks and purrs out of this one that you get like with a mouth call, and you still be ready for that gobbler and still be in good position. So you can get some really, really good sounds like you do with a mouth with this call. So for you guys that can't use a mouth call yet, or maybe you're allergic to it, this is a call that you want to check out, because I think it's going to help you guys, especially that can't run a mouth call. I think another advantage of this call also is locating turkeys. Now, years ago when I had a call similar to this, I did notice that there were days when I couldn't get turkeys to gobble at nothing else but this little box, or one like it. That sound, for some reason, just got them located when I was going through that area earlier with a mouth call or a conventional box or a slate call or glass call, whatever, and they never said a word, but I pulled out this little box call like this. And man, you know, they gobble, you know. And I think a lot of reasons why that happens is It's just like when someone uses a tube call or a trumpet call or some other call that maybe just has a different frequency and a different sound, but yet sounds really good and sounds like a real turkey. That gobbler just thinks, man, that's a new hen. I've never heard her before, because think about it, especially if you're hunting public land or you're hunting a pressured private piece where they've heard all this calling, they've heard all the hens around, they've heard all the people calling around, and they've heard all these turkey sounds, and they hear a new sound they've never heard before. Many times that just fires them up and gets them to gobble, and so I think that's a big advantage of having a hybrid call, is to get that sound that many times they've never heard but yet sounds real, and it gets them to gobble, and you know they're there. You know, I've often compared turkey hunting to bass fishing. A bass fisherman don't go out there with just a box of spinner baits. He doesn't go out there with just a box of plastic worms. He doesn't just go out there with a box of topwater lures. No, he goes out there with a wide range of lures in his tackle box, because you never know what them bass are going to be on, because one week they'll be on a spinnerbait, one week they'll be on a crankbait, one week they'll be on a plastic worm. So you want to have your bases covered. Well, it's the same way with turkey calling. Now, I'm not saying you have to look like a walking sporting goods store with 1,000 turkey calls around you, but it does help to have a wide range of different calls and frequencies and sounds that sound good, because many times that gets turkeys to respond that you would have never had known was there if you would have just went through there with a mouth call, or went through there with your favorite slate call, or whatever the case. So just another reason why that a little hybrid call like this could be the very thing this spring season that saves your hunt, because you got him to gobble, and you would have never got him to gobble and never knew he was there unless you'd have had a sound that triggered him. So just another reason to look at this little sly call. So here it is, the little sly. Many of y'all have seen my old sly box call and have bought it, and it's killed a lot of turkeys for a lot of people. Well, this is just the little baby brother, rather, of the old sly. The little sly, and it's, like I said, it's a hybrid call. Is it a guarantee to kill you a turkey? No, nothing's a guarantee. But I'll tell you what, I do believe it's going to put a lot of turkeys in some vests this coming year, because I have seen what this call can do in years past. So hope that you will check them out at springfevercustomcalls.com. Now, these are custom made, meaning that somebody does hand build these, so they're not mass produced. So just keep checking back if they're sold out, and we will have more on the site. But check them out. They are on the site right now. Go over there and get you one of this first run. If they're sold out in a day or so, just be patient, and you will have some more throughout turkey season. And so get you one, and I hope that it kills you a big old gobbler. And send me a picture. Send me a picture. Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case, send me a picture and say, hey, look what that little sly did. You're exactly right. It's a heck of a call. So check them out, and thank you for viewing this video. Forget, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification so you'll be notified when Dell Outdoors uploads videos at least twice a week now, all the way till the end of turkey season. We'll be bringing you more educational videos, teaching you how to kill turkeys, and bringing you turkey hunts once season opens up. So you don't want to miss any of the videos we've got coming down the pipe, or that's coming in the future. So make sure to subscribe to this channel, and also check out all of our sponsors and partners in the links below. Check out the Spring Fever Custom Calls. I'll put the link in the description where you can get the little sly, and check out Stoker Shotguns, Tidewe.com, where you can get all the great apparel like this heated vest from Tidewe that I'm wearing here, and all the other great products, the boots, the hunting blinds, the range finders, all the great products over at Tidewe.com. Use the promo code DALE for even a better discount, and check out GameCuffs.com, where you can get the good turkey tote over there that I use, and also the deer drag system. Check out Kona Scopes. Just all the great partners we have, and we appreciate all that they do for us. Check them out in the links below, and we'll see you in the next video.